I'm live, I hope. Incognito, Kim on the trail. On the trail, Kim. Thanks for being here. Crime and Innocence, Carolyn, Jerry. How y'all doing? You know what? My week. Man, let me tell you about my week. Well, I better get right down to the brass tacks. Kind of do it like that. But it's been a week, people. It has been a week here at the Ridge. The cows got out, man. The cattle. Because the electric was out. They said, oh, man, the electric fence ain't working. Hey, great time to take off. Head to another county. So I had to go out, man. We had to round up the cattle, push them back, get them in. Man, truth and justice. Man. Hey, what's up, man? 37 people. Wow, 37. Okay, well, let's get to it. This show here is pretty much about the Delphi briefing. But I wanted to set the stage prior to. And this is what I'm going to do in the video that I am creating is foremost set the stage as to where I was upstairs at the time of this. So allow me to do that real quick. For those of you who view my channel most all the time, you're pretty much caught up to date. But allow me to begin. On November 19th, in the daytime, Thomas Jerome Bruce committed the Catholic supply store sexual assault and homicide, on which right now he is facing life without parole in St. Louis County, Missouri. Now, upon that happening, he was caught 2 days later on the 21st. They invaded his house, pretty much. They did not knock. I think he was looking forward to a knock because I think he wanted to go out by police suicide. I think that's exactly what he had transpired in his mind was going to take place upon committing the act in the first place. And it was first-degree murder, plus 16 other felony counts. So, upon with this, now they just kicked in the door and came in and got him. And of course, according to the mugshot, that we've all seen, he got a black eye because he went down fighting and he was probably going for a handgun at that time. Just my thought. I can't prove it, but it will likely come out in court that is what happened. Now, upon him being arrested, of course, they called Carroll County, St. Louis County, Missouri did. And they says, hey, we got a guy in here who had never been caught committing a crime before. He had no DNA or fingerprints in the legal database until they put him in. But I believe that there was a match to the latent print found in Delphi. Now, they called him up and said, we have this man here, no DNA or fingerprints in a legal profile. He looks like your Delphi sketch. Hang on 1 minute here. Because I was thinking, and he was dressed exactly like your photos of Bridge guy while committing the act in St. Louis. So now whether they mentioned anything about a fingerprint, that's beyond me. But believe me, if you put something into a legal database and it has a match, that match is going to pop up. There it is. So I do believe that it popped up for Delphi. That's just me. Now, I knew upon looking, because when I seen these mugshot, I'm like, oh, man, hey, this could be that dude, given the evidence that they've already given to us, that he was dressed like Bridge guy, looks like Bridge guy, had never committed a crime before. I found that out at the first-year press conference, that the man had never been caught committing a crime. The Delphi suspect. So I began doing my own investigation into him. And after a while of looking into things, he had filed bankruptcy in January, 1 month before Delphi murders in 2017. Then I started thinking like, well, of everything I found, he had lost his job 1 month prior to Delphi. Oh, hey, Jason Voorhees, man. Hey, what the hell are you doing here, man? Right on, man. Glad you made it, bro. Yeah, cool shit, man. It's an old friend of mine's son. So anyways, I felt like after looking that over, and I made a video speaking to everybody, and I believe that was in November of 2018. I said, I don't know why he would be in Delphi. I have not placed how that would operate. I don't know why, but I was pretty certain that, yes, he was our guy. He was the man who committed it. Now, that was before I found the directions to his family's house from St. Louis. Takes Highway 25 right by Monon High Bridge Trail. And I said, hey, there it is. He had stopped there before. He used it as a rest area, so to speak, to get out, stretch his legs, hike for a minute before continuing on. And that's what made me feel that he was the suspect at that time. And I put a lot more into that after the fact. But that's where I stand right now on the Delphi briefing. So what we're going to do is watch the Delphi briefing. And the whole thing with the Delphi briefing was I didn't go there and watch it live. I was not present at that time. I didn't want to be, because I knew that they hadn't went down and spoke to him because he was already in court on other matters of a very serious propensity. They could not go down and talk to him at that time until his case was complete, just like with Daniel Nations. So I knew that they hadn't done that. I knew they wasn't going to announce a suspect. And my thought was, well, what in the hell are they going to talk about? You know, I mean, what are they fixing to say? So I stayed here so that I could go down to Justin's dad's house down here and watch it, and then come back and give you guys what it was that I thought about it. Now, I was very upset after the briefing because I quickly seen that they were saying things that were somewhat falsehoods, the way that I saw it. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be covering that, and I'm going to stop it intermittently because I get a lot of questions in the chat concerning a lot of things, like the shack, the new sketch. And many things were said, and the briefing was called A New Direction. Now, the new direction, I thought, even at the end, I was like, well, what new direction? I mean, I'm not understanding. He was talking to the suspect. You never thought that we would change our investigative style or something along that line, but we have. And I thought, why is he saying that to a man that he knows is down there in the St. Louis jail? It makes no sense. I think he even said the suspect may be in this room right here watching us right now. And I thought, okay, Doug Carter's not stupid. I mean, why am I not making sense of this? So today we're going to watch the briefing, and we're going to stop at each segment, and we're going to cover each little segment of that briefing. Now, this is kind of a prequel, because then I got the regular video that I'm making. And in that video, I am going to go into the long term of everything that I have on Thomas Jerome Burroughs. And then we're going to then it's going to hit upon the briefing where I stop at each segment. So this is kind of a prequel, but it's a live prequel. That way you guys are kind of involved and can even ask further questions as we go along. So give me a second. Man, you know what? I should have already had done this, but really, I got to get there and pull up the briefing. Let me see. Where would that be? Down here. Briefing. Delphi briefing. Yeah, I'm going to be copyrighted like in no uncertain terms for this, man. Let me tell you that right now. Like right now.
Carter, he's taking a stand.
Hold on. Is the volume up? It is. And if this is too low, please let me know, man. I would appreciate it if you do. And with audio, please. Okay. All right. Now, let's get on with the show, everybody. I got to look under my mic here. Okay, this is the Delphi briefing.
Delphi community, how grateful I am. You inspire people that you don't even understand, and you don't even understand why. Information is being released today is the result of literally thousands and thousands of hours of extraordinary investigative efforts by Delphi, Carroll County, the FBI, the Indiana State Police, and countless other agencies. This community surrounded us some 26 months ago. And you did everything you could to support us, but most importantly, you surrounded the family of these two little girls. Gosh, I'll never forget it. After you hear what we're going to release today, I'm going to ask for your continued support, your continued understanding, your empathy and compassion as we move forward to find out who did this, and we will.
They
We're seeking the
had.
public's help to identify the driver of a vehicle that was parked at the old CPS DCS welfare building in the city of Delphi that was abandoned on the east side of County Road 300 North, next to the Hoosier-Hartman Highway.
Okay, I will stop right there for a brief moment. Now, oh crap. I want to make a point that the building, the CPS building, was abandoned, not the vehicle. Now, a lot of people took that to mean that the vehicle was abandoned, but if the vehicle was abandoned, the police would have it. I mean, they would have, probably fingerprints and everything else, man, from the suspect. It was the building that was abandoned, and actually it was boarded up, I believe somewhere back, because the building's gone now. But going back, I do have video of it there, but now I got like video of the empty lot where it did stand. And from the CPS building, there was a trail that went to Monon High Bridge Trail. It just went straight south, right up to Freedom Bridge, then hit the trail. All right, let's get back to the briefing here.
Between the hours of noon and 5 on February 14th, 2017.
Okay, a quick halt again. He said February 14th, but it was not the 14th. He did misspeak, and he did come out and say as such. He said it was the 13th I was talking about, not the 14th. On the 14th was the day that the girls were being searched for. It was not the 14th. It was the 13th that he was speaking of.
If you were parked there or know who was parked there, please contact the officers at the command post at the Delphi City building. We are releasing additional portions of the audio recording from that day. Please keep in mind, the person talking is one person, and is the person on the bridge with the girls.
Is one person, and is the same person that was on the bridge with the girls. It is not two people. I have never thought it was two people. I only thought it was one person. But again, it depends upon where you go on the internet to get your information, because if you go to Facebook, you know what? There's forums on there that say 25 people did it.
This is not two different people speaking. Please listen to it very, very carefully. We're also releasing video recovered from Libby's phone. This video has never before been previously released. The video shows the suspect walking on the bridge. When you see the video, watch the person's mannerisms as they walk.
Okay, I do want to cut in right here. And this is why. He wants us to watch the mannerisms of how the guy walks. Fair enough. But the guy takes a step and a half. Now, I have shown like walk comparison between the Delphi suspect, the video you're about to see of the suspect, and Thomas Bruce. Now, in both, I believe that Thomas Bruce, because I believe that he is bridge guy at 100%. His walk on the bridge was kind of, he was intoxicated for one. Two, you have to watch where it is you're stepping, because you can't take regular steps. You have to watch the next plank that you're walking to. So this right here is not his casual day-to-day stroll. This is how he would walk across that bridge and being somewhat intoxicated. I want to point that out. All right. Let's get back to it.
Watch the mannerisms as he walks. Do you recognize the mannerisms as being someone that you might know? Remember, he is walking on the former railroad bridge. Because of the deteriorated condition of the bridge, the suspect is not walking naturally due to the spacing between the ties. During the course of this investigation, we have concluded the first sketch released will become secondary as of today.
Now, a quick halt. The first sketch, the one that looks like Thomas Bruce, will become secondary as of today. Now, that bothered me. And that's why I wanted to be here to make a live video after the fact. Now, it bothered me for a few reasons. One, I already knew Thomas Bruce was that person. At that time, I was 100% in the know. Hey, Michelle Trine, man. Glad you could make it, man. Glad you're here. Thank you. Thanks for being here. So, oh, wait. Oh, hang on. What? Hold on a second. Okay, so the second sketch, or the first sketch, would become secondary. The second sketch that they released that day would become the real sketch, the one that they wanted out. I don't even know for how long. They don't even think he said. But the second sketch looked quite a bit younger than the first sketch. The second sketch did not have the facial hair like the first sketch. The second sketch did not have a hat on his head when the suspect only had a hat on his head. And that made me, like right here, when he started talking about that, and before we seen this sketch, I'm like, a new sketch? Are they going to release something that looks even more like Thomas Bruce? You know, I was a little bewildered and upset after the fact. So let's get back to this and catch what he's saying.
The result of the new information and intelligence over time leads us to believe the sketch, which you will see shortly, is the person responsible for the murders of these two little girls.
And I doubt that it is. I think that maybe when Thomas Bruce was in his early 20s, perhaps. I mean, I showed the comparison between the new sketch and him when he was young. If they used DNA to get what it is that the guy would look like. That's a maybe. I don't know. But it seems that they was going through all that to narrow down what the suspect would look like. It seems like C.C. Moore would have had him in less than 2 months, when it was really July, August, 4 months in after the local paper had said that they was using the same technology as what got John D. Miller, C.C. Moore, and the DNA detectives. Carroll County investigators would be using that. I'm thinking differently.
We also believe this person is from Delphi. Currently.
Now, when he said that, oh, hang on. Let's hear the whole of it.
Or has previously lived here. Visits Delphi on a regular basis. Or works here. We believe this person is currently between the age range of 18 and 40.
Okay. I will halt there for... Oh, shit. I didn't even have that up, did I? I'm sorry. Man, I'm sorry. Crap. Let me back it up a moment. That way you guys can see that. I'm sorry. Let me take it back to, again, here somewhere.
As of today, the result of the new information and intelligence over time leads us to believe the sketch, which you will see shortly, is the person responsible for the murders of these two little girls. We also believe this person is from Delphi, currently or has previously lived here, visits Delphi on a regular basis, or works here. We believe this person is currently between the age range of 18 and 40, but might appear younger than his true age. directly
For the love of God, man, my mic was on mute, so it probably just looked like I was sitting here talking. Yeah, I'm sorry, Kathy. Man, you know what? Yeah, sorry, everyone. I know, and I apologize right up front. Yep, it's on now. Okay, everybody, calm down. Anywho, let me get back to what it was I was saying. They was talking about him being from Delphi, being from the Delphi area, or working in Delphi, visiting regularly, and was between the ages of 18 and 40. Thomas Jerome Bruce is 45 days older than I am. Now, at the time when they did this, for 5 months, I already knew it was him. Well, actually, at 5 months back, I was at 98%, but after everything started falling into place, I said, you know what? It is him. Because I put enough time, effort into looking into this and figuring everything out, man. I mean, his time schedule, when he was working, when he wasn't working, his routes, everything, like right down to the gray matter, man. I mean, like hell, at the first year briefing, I mean, Kim Riley, Trooper Kim Riley of Indiana State Police told me it's like the suspect had never committed a crime before. Now, that is not because of DNA. You cannot trace a person's crimes from DNA. You cannot. I mean, if there is no DNA in there, you can't say that the person has never been arrested. The only way that you could do that was to have a fingerprint and then run that through a legal database. If a person has no fingerprints in the legal database, the survey says they had never been caught committing a crime. And that's when it hit me, right at 1 year in. They have fingerprints. And I still believe that right now. All right, let's get back to it.
to the killer who may be in this room.
Yeah, there's a lot of stop time too here. I'll give you that. The killer who might be in this room, hiding in plain sight. Why would the killer be in that room when two people that I know of, that I can speak and say, okay, I met them and I know that they saw him. Why would he say that? Like the guy's going to try to come into a law enforcement briefing where the two people could be and see him and go, he's the one. And again, man, it kind of called into question, like, why is he saying this? Why did they put it out in front of him to say that the killer might be right here? He's hiding in plain sight. That's BS. And I told people that right after the Delphi briefing. It was complete BS. Incognito Society is here. That I know of. I have not seen Crime Sleuth. So anyways, let's get back to it.
We believe you were hiding in plain sight.
And he was.
For more than 2 years, you never thought we would shift gears to a different investigative strategy, but we have.
Now, what does that mean? Oh, shit. See, I didn't even have a book on there. My God, man. You know what? I'm messing stuff up, man. And I'm sorry, like right off the bat. Anyways, what he said was, you never thought, speaking to the suspect, that we would change our investigative style, but we have. This is the new style of investigation. Now, I didn't understand why he had said that, but again, at the moment when he said it, I was pretty infuriated. I was like, why is he saying that? Why is he saying that? He knows better than I do who did it. Why is he telling the public that? And I'm going to get to that when we're done as to why.
We likely have interviewed you or someone close to you. We know that this is about power to you.
Now, that right there, I do want to speak on. We know that this is about power to you. Now, that kind of suggests toward the crime. You see where I'm at? It's like we know that this was about power to you when you committed this crime. Hang on a second. I need a little bit. There we go. So that's kind of what that told me. That part of it right there.
And you want to know what we know. And one day, you will.
Too late. I done told him what I know, but not what they know. But I did tell him that law enforcement knew a hell of a lot more than I know. Yeah, just to let him know.
A question to you. What will those closest to you think of? They find out that you brutally murdered 2 little girls. 2 children. Only a coward would do such a thing. We are confident that you have told someone what you have done. Or at the very least, they know. Because of how different you are since the murders. We try so hard to understand how a person could do something like this to two children. I recently watched a movie called The Shack. And there's also a book that talks so well about evil, about death, and about eternity.
Now, people want to know why he mentioned the shack. I don't think that it's anything because I have never known law enforcement to hand things out on the investigation by telling people, like in subtle manners, as far as a movie, anything about it. Like, you know, people go, see, it was done in a shack. No, it was not done in a shack. I think that the shack was a reference to the family because it did speak of good and bad and eternity and so forth. Now, I watched the movie. It wasn't my style of movie, but I watched it to see what it was about. I thought it was rather new agey in a way. That's just me. I don't think that, you know, that's just me. But I don't think it had any reference toward the crime. I just want to point that out. But that's me talking. You know, take it how you like. But that's just me on that. Damn it. That's why I keep hitting that wrong button. Sorry.
To the murderer. I believe you have just a little bit of a conscience left. And I can assure you that how you left them in that woods is not. It's not what they're experiencing today.
You know, how you left them in the woods is not how they are today. That right there says to me like staging, posing the bodies. But honestly, I mean, when I looked this up, because I started thinking for a while that the man that did this, because they have mentioned the fact that it was brutal. They have said that multiple times, that the act was brutal. I got video where they talk about this brutal act. And I started thinking, who would go out and commit brutal rapes to females of any and all age? This guy just don't care as long as he gets that reaction out of them. It's the calling of a sadistic killer. They enjoy the atmosphere of the reaction that they get out of the others. Thomas Jerome Bruce shot Jamie Schmidt in the head for not complying with what he had said to get the reaction out of the other 2 women that was there, and then go perpetrate upon them because of the reaction. Now, sadistic killers enjoy that power. It's the power over another person, the humiliation. That's what makes them feel powerful. Thomas Jerome Bruce did this when times in his life he felt less power. This is when he would go commit those acts by opportunity. Rarely did he ever stalk, to my knowledge. All of it was by happenstance. But he did go to Delphi Monon High Bridge Trail seeking an opportunity because it was hiked, but not heavily hiked. If you came across someone, chances are there wasn't someone else right back behind him. It was a place for an opportunity. He had been there before. He knew the trails, and that's why he went there that day, because it was on the reverse date as the Evansdale murders. That was 7/13/12, 12/13/17, or 2/13/17. Reverse dates, 7/13/12, 2/13/17. Let's get back to it.
To the family, I hope that you all will give them some time, because we're going to be asking that there's no media inquiry or no media response for at least the next 2 weeks, and I hope you understand why. The family found out about this information this morning.
I want to point out right here at this point that the information that he was talking about was the added word. Now, I did not understand the added word, why they added that. It was said in a different tone as down the hill. It was in a higher tone, guys, down the hill. And I thought, well, it doesn't sound that much like the other one. Now, they had a lot more than down the hill and guys in their audio. So I thought, why would they confuse the issue by adding a different sound when they know pretty much what the guy sounds like? You know, why would they hand out this added word of guys? And then he says, this morning was the first time that the family had ever heard this. Now, everybody's going around saying, or I have heard said, not you guys, but I have heard said or stated that the family has watched the whole of the video, that they was talking about everything that the guy was saying. I don't believe that's true at all, because law enforcement is not going to give the family the full of their investigation, because the family, just like everybody else, may go out and talk about that to friends or this or that, and then the information would be blown out. They would know, the suspect would. That's why they don't tell the family the information that is in their investigation. All right, let's get back to it.
I just want the family to know that when I take my last breath on this earth, I'll be thinking of them. There's going to be a tremendous amount of questions. I know that. I know that. Never in my career have I stood in front of something like this. Please be patient with us, please. We're just beginning. We are just now beginning. And I can tell you on behalf of the sheriff and the police chief, so many other partners that have stood with us over this period of time, that we will not stop.
The new sketch.
I just unveiled the person that we believe responsible for the murder of these two little girls. So I invite media to take a look at that now. Kim. We're also going to show you a video not previously released that the superintendent spoke to, and also the audio that's additional to what's been previously released. It's only a slight change in it. Give Sergeant Riley just a second as he gets that up and ready.
Okay. Wanted to hop in right there real quick because I had heard stated that he could have been talking to other people that was with him, other men, rather than the girls. However, if there was at least 2 other people that was with him, do you not believe the FBI CSI would have uncovered that, especially with the kill zone, like where they killed him at? You know, they would have known that more than one person was there. Would they have held that from the public? No, because they would say, okay, that there was more than one person, 2 or more people there. So if you know anybody that was with someone that then, you know, maybe had a reason for being late or this, that would have been something that they would have put before the public. I just want to point that out. He was not saying that to other people he was with. He was stating that to the 2 girls. Now, why he called them guys, I don't understand. I don't get that. Oh, yes, Patrick. Yeah. I've been waiting for your email back. No, but no. I got to keep this right here for right now, but remind me in a minute. So anyway, let's get back to it.
Stand by for the video, please. There is no sound of the video.
Okay. Now, right there, and again, I believe that Thomas Jerome Bruce had been drinking prior to this. I believe that he also had alcohol with him for the weight. I don't think that he was highly inebriated, but I think that he had that buzz that allowed for more courage than normal. So, with that, I am going to share his walk alongside of that. Give me a quick second while I pull up the screen recorder here. Now, this here is him walking. Now, that's the suspect right there. And let's see. Here it is.
Captured dash cam footage with the man who would soon become a murder suspect.
This is Thomas Jerome Bruce.
I am in a sense that you work for me. Okay. All right? Do you understand that? I don't work for you. Okay? Yes, you do. I pay your taxes. And you do not work for me. Step back. You step back. All right, you're going to stay right there. I'm going to put you on the stand right there.
All right, now
That's just the beginning
watch him stepping forward here.
of the tense and surprising moments in this confrontation.
Oh, shit, man. I didn't even have that on, man. Yeah, again, you know what, man? I'm messing this up. My bad entirely. Let's go back one more time. Okay.
Okay. All right? Do you understand that? I don't work for you. Okay? Yes, you do. I pay your taxes. And you do not work for me. Step back. You step back. All right, you're going to stand right there. I'm going to put you on the stand right there.
Now watch him move forward here.
That's just the beginning of the tense and surprising.
That is the walk comparison I have. Now, when we go back to here, oh, that don't work like that. My bad. And this is the suspect also drunken, walking on the bridge. And he's got to watch where it is he's stepping. See that big crack right there to the front of him? It's like right there between each of them. You got to watch your footing. Now, again, I believe that to be Thomas Bruce. I think that it's always been Thomas Bruce. And He walks like him. He talks like him. He had never committed a crime like him. They checked him via his fingerprint. The FBI was there the next day, I believe, to get his DNA. Now, when the FBI got Thomas Jerome Bruce's DNA, investigators in St. Louis County, Missouri, was saying that they felt that his actions at the Catholic supply store suggested that this was not the first time that he had done something like this. So the FBI goes in and gets his DNA. Now, down in St. Louis News, they came out and said, yeah, hang on. You can't see now, Doris? Okay, yes, hold tight. I got to pull it back up again.
Murder suspect Thomas Bruce 1 month before his alleged Catholic supply store.
Footage with the
All right. Okay. This is Thomas Bruce right here.
man who would soon become a murder suspect.
I am a citizen. You work for me. Okay. All right? Do you understand that? I don't work for you. Yes, you do. I pay your taxes, and you do not work for me. Step back. You step back. All right, you're going to stay right there. I'm going to want to stay right there.
Watch him walk forward, hands in pockets.
Tense and surprising.
Hands in pockets. That is the man. He was the man. And like I said, when they speak about DNA, if everybody remembers that, did everybody see that? Could everybody see it? Okay. All right. So anyway, they was talking about DNA. Now, down there on St. Louis News, they come out and said that the FBI had gotten his DNA and that they was running it through the legal databases, checking for a match. Nothing yet, but they're still looking. And that was the last you heard about it. Now, I went back to reference that the other day concerning the FBI getting his DNA. Nothing. It ain't on the internet anymore. So it begs the question, why would they take down all references to them getting his DNA? Why? Why would they want to do that? Why would they want to take that down off the internet so that nobody can find that? Why? It's gone. It was there, and I should have screen recorded that. I didn't think they was going to take it down, but 2 years have passed. Yeah, it's kind of amazing what it is that they will do if they don't want you to know something. Well, they scoured the internet of it. And that makes me wonder, why? Why would they do that? If you go to Google and you put in Thomas Jerome Bruce, the FBI DNA, do you know what's going to cover that first whole page? Literally, Barry Scheck talking about the Susan Collins murder in Tennessee. There will be nothing from St. Louis on that first page. Guarantee you money. Even searched everywhere that I could not find anything on it. Nothing. They wiped it off the internet. Ask yourself why they would do that. Why would they do that? Why would they put Barry Scheck on the headlines? Why? Why, man? Why? Do they or do they not want this guy in Delphi caught? Ask yourself. Because when it comes out that he did do it, what's everybody going to be asking? Well, why didn't you say that? That's what everybody's going to wonder. And I'm going to get right to why they did it in just a moment. Let's get back to the briefing at hand. Oh, shit. No. Tell me I didn't do that. I did. Well, crap. Hold on a second. I'm going to have to go find the briefing again. Huh. All right. Maintain here for a second.
Doug Carter, and he has taken the stand. We'll take a listen in.
Some time, because we're going to be asking that there's no media inquiry or no media response for at least the next something like this.
Responsible also going. Stand by for the video, please.
Hands in
There's
pockets.
no sound of the video.
Want to point that out. And in both he's drunk, although in the other he was trying to walk all proper and long step. There he had to watch how far he was walking.
As Superintendent Carter
Down the
mentioned,
hill.
he is on the railway bridge.
And Thomas Bruce, same voice.
You have to take different steps to get to it. This information later this afternoon will be on the State Police website. For the community that's here, we have 100 copies of the news release. If you put in that URL, you'll be able to get to that site to play it. And we also have that same release for you in the media. And the rest of the state will get that release in about 15 minutes. So we appreciate those of you that came here. This concludes our announcement. Thank you for your time, patience, and courtesy.
Well, there wasn't a lot left to the briefing. My apologies. But that was the briefing. Do you want me to play it again? Okay. I will play Thomas Jerome Bruce again. Again, people. Oh, wait, man, what in the hell am I doing? Please watch carefully.
Footage with the man who would soon become a murder suspect.
I am a citizen. You work for me. Okay, all right? Do you understand that? I don't work for you. Or yes, you do. I pay your taxes, and you do not work for me. Step back. Well, then you step back. All right, you're gonna stand right there, and we'll bring you on the stand right here.
That's just the beginning of the tense and surprising moments in this confrontation. Tonight, only on Fox 2 News at 10, see more of this tense dash cam footage with Thomas Bruce. Chris Hayes, Fox 2 News.
That, oh shit, man, what in the hell am I doing? All right.
Murder suspect Thomas Bruce 1 month before his alleged Catholic supply store ran.
It is exclusive video.
Dash cam footage with the man who would soon become a murder suspect.
I am a citizen. You work for me. All right? Do you understand that? I don't work for you. Or yes, you do. I pay your taxes, and you do not work for me. Step back. Well, then you step back. All right, you're gonna stand right there. I'm gonna bring you on the stand right here.
That's
Look at his
just the
shoes.
beginning of the tense and surprising moments in this confrontation. Tonight, only on Fox 2 News at 10.
Hands in pockets. Walks a lot like the Delphi murder suspect, in my humble opinion. Well, yeah, I can hear you, Morales. I can hear you. Can you guys hear me all right? Am I okay? Am I all right? So anyway, after the Delphi briefing, I came up here and I made a video. One I should probably take down. I was a little bit upset, but allow me to get to my point here, because this is a very good point. I believe that the Delphi briefing was done for one reason: to end their investigation. They had over 60,000 telephone tips called in. Now, each one of those phone tips, no matter how ridiculous, no matter how stupid, and most of them were, because none of them, I don't think, involved Thomas Jerome Bruce, they had to go investigate. Well, guess what? The suspect did not have blue eyes, like me. I do not look anything like Bridge Guy, but I had a Howard County investigator come out here to talk to me about the Delphi murders. And I'm like, oh, dude, please, look at me. Look at me. Do I look like Bridge Guy to you? Do I? No. I agree, you don't. Well, then it says, yeah, I understand, but we can't clear you without a DNA sample. Well, I'm not getting paid for this video anyway, so I'll tell you what I told him. Well, they sure as fuck ain't getting one from me. Well, they still might want it. Okay, fair enough. If they want it like that and they can get a judge to sign on for it, tell them I'll own their ass. All right, man, you have a good day. You too, sir, and thanks for telling me about the DNA. I'm making a video now. That's when I knew conclusively, and that was in July of 2017. That's when I knew that they had DNA. That was right before they came out with the fact, because I made a video on it saying they had DNA. They came out and said, okay, we have suspect DNA. So we know that they had suspect DNA. At the first year press conference, when asked Trooper Kim Riley, well, if you know, with the investigation, I mean, well, it's like the guy never committed a crime. Are you saying that because of DNA? Well, I can't speak on that. But yeah, it's like the person's never did anything. I mean, I'm not saying he never has, but we can find no traces of him. That told me they had fingerprints. That right there. That told me. Now, over, what is that, man? Actually, about 2 years later, they come out and say, well, there was something suggestive of a latent print. Bingo. That's what I've been talking about for 2 years. People don't want to, people don't like to listen to what I'm saying, man. You should, because I am like, on this case, aside of law enforcement, there probably is no minute detail that I am in the unknown of, aside of the crime itself. I don't really speak on the crime itself, but there are things that I can see by what they're talking about, what they're speaking of, that suggest posing the bodies. So I think that that's one thing that, will come out when it does go to court. Now, on the briefing, it was to end the investigation. That was it. Let's give them the details that we used to think were real, that he was from around here in between 18 and 40. Let's tell them that. We can release the video enhanced. I want to point that out. Law enforcement said they enhanced it. Now, if I took a phone that was exactly like the one Libby's had, and I explained this to my brother yesterday, I said I could set that down and I could go out 300 yards and start walking toward you while you was video filming me. And there's going to come that minute when I'm way off where people would go, oh, it's Michael. Because you'd be able to tell the raw footage right there. That's Michael right there. Now, they was about 50 feet from the man when she caught that. 50 feet from that man. And you can tell that by where the ties are in front of her, because the second or the last pedestal, I say pedestal, the last platform on the left, when you're crossing the bridge going to the south, is where I believe that they were. They're on that platform or on the tracks right there beside that platform, because that's exactly where it is. They are to the man's left, and that's where it's filmed from his left. You cannot see that last pedestal in front of her, and that suggests to me that they were near or by that platform at 50 feet away. If they were at the far end of the south side of the bridge filming him, you would have had long tracks in front of you to him. Nope, it was right from here to there, with those tracks right to the front. So I think it was basically to end the investigation so that they didn't no longer have to take or go and follow up on all these leads. Then they could say, okay, anybody calling in on this new direction, it's going to be deemed as uninvestigatable because we already know who did it. So it wasn't really a lie. It was a way to kind of relieve themselves of the fact of time. They could investigate more local crimes without surrounding counties by ending the investigation, by telling us what it was they used to believe, but now they know is no longer true. And when people called up concerning that, it was non-investigatable. They did not have to go look into that call. Like me. What idiot would think I did it? Well, his last name probably begins with Cunningham. Just a thought. Yeah, I don't stop Morales. In fact, if it was, the fucker would already be in jail right now. Just throwing it out there. I don't think that the FBI, state police, and local authorities are like silly enough to overlook somebody that knew them or a family member or anybody local. Again, let me break this down to you. Carroll County, Delphi is a little bitty piece. It's the county seat of Carroll County. But all of Carroll County, man, woman, and baby childs, is 20,000 people. Divide that in half, you get 10,000 men, right? Now, let's divide that number of 10,000 down to those who are ages 18 to 40, all right? Now, let's divide that number there down again, had never been to jail. Everybody 18 to 40 has been in jail. I mean, like literally, you could trace it down to like 200 to 300 people that fast, and then start going and questioning them. 200 to 300 people, you got 60,000 phone taps. Think about it. Think about what they're saying, and then look at the statistics. It would be easy to trace that guy down. Very easy. So I'm not thinking that that it is from anybody from Delphi. If it was somebody from Delphi or Carroll County, everybody that called in would have said, I know exactly who that is. He was dressed just like that day. He walked by my house. He lives right down the road from me. Delphi is a very small community of 3,500 people, and you got over 60,000 tips phoned in. Think about the lunacy that the cops have to go through following up on all of those leads with surrounding counties and state and the FBI investigating. It's BS, and they didn't want it anymore. They did not want to do that anymore, and that was the sole reason for the Delphi briefing. The new sketch, why did they make it look young? So that people would not connect the dots. So people wouldn't go look at the first sketch and then look at Thomas Bruce and go, hey, wait a minute. Hold on a minute here. That guy had never committed a crime either and looks just like the first sketch. Yeah, what's up with that? Oh, we ain't answering questions. Let me tell you something. The last time that law enforcement in a whole answered questions concerning the Delphi murders was at the second year press conference. And that was to the media. The media. The ones that asked the questions like, yeah, you're up first, Raphael. That's why they asked the questions. They already know the question. They already have the answer wrote out in front of them. But they wasn't going to let me into the second year. Why? Because the first year, look at Holman's face when I'm asking the question. It's like, yeah, man, don't have him back. He ain't coming back. He is not going to be back because I ask real questions. That's what they don't want. Now, that was the last time that they spoke and asked or answered questions was the second year. If I go back before that, then you're looking at the first year press conference. That's when I asked the big question. Wasn't invited back for the second one. Like, you got to leave. I'm like, you going to make me leave, man. This is public place, public time. We will make you leave. Well, where's your media credentials? I handed them to him. He just threw the card back at me. Didn't even look at it. It's fake. You're fake, man. That's when Holman came out and said, look, you said in one of your videos that you was going to get the Delphi reward money. I'm like, that's a lie. I said, nobody would get that money. Nobody. Nobody's going to get the Delphi or the Evansdale FBI reward money of $25,000 or $250,000. I stated that a long time ago, a very long time ago, long before the second year. I said, nobody's going to get that money because you have to call in. Look at the fine print. You have to call in. You have to give enough evidence to get the person indicted for murder. They have to be tried. You know, if what you said gets the conviction of that person, then you get the reward money. I said, well, he was already in jail when I heard his name. So that right there is an automatic, well, that ain't going to count. Now, if I knew the guy and I placed the dots, then it would be different. Then somebody might get that reward money. But anyway, I looked at home and I said, I never said that. I said that I said on a video that I might get like the citizen reward money for Evansdale, which went from 20 to 50,000 because I was the person that called him in. But that was it. I never said anything about Delphi, which told me right there that Holman's full of shit. That he's a big, fat, respectable punk of an FBI agent. That's what he is. He goes there and tries to be respectful and look at me. I'm FBI. Look at me, everybody. Lowdown is, man, he isn't that respectable. Not to have me leave like that, not to sit and talk to me like that, like I had said something that I didn't say. No. I don't take that shit from my best friend. I damn sure ain't gonna like it from Holman. I don't like cops in general. Well, Chris Swanson, man, of Genesee County, Michigan, he was all right. Best conversation I ever had with law enforcement ever. And Chris Swanson told me that after Thomas Bruce was convicted, he said, I'll be on your show. I can't wait for that because he's going to be on my show. And hopefully we can set that up at a time after the trials in Michigan for Mary Pryor and Dan Pates. That way he can answer more on the investigation, and it don't just have to be him being on my show, but he can really openly talk about it after the fact. That would rock, and I am looking forward to that when it happens. Now it comes to the part of, does anybody have any questions? Because if you do, now's the time to throw them up. Throw them into chat, and we will get to them in the quick and the immediate. You're very welcome, Brian. Jack, any developments or new leads in the case? Haven't followed closely for now. They really haven't. I think that the briefing was that I just showed, that was the last that we really heard of it. Now, they had the radio talk show, and that was on right before the third year, but they didn't really follow that up with the third year press conference. And like I said, if we go back to the last time that they openly answered questions, law enforcement as a whole on it was the second year. And that was when they had the prosecutor talking, and it wasn't even like really so much law enforcement. What's up, Jonathan? Super B Wonder. Need to check local businesses for applications filled out by Bruce around that time. Dude, if it was that easy, they would have had the guy. They would have had him a long time ago. Nothing was overlooked like that by FBI or local or state. Believe you me. If it's a question you're coming up with on how to find the guy locally, ain't going to happen. I'm telling you right now who did it. It's Thomas Jerome Bruce. And not only that, but Evansdale and Mary Pryor and Dan Pates, to my knowledge. And if I am to believe Barry Scheck, and honestly, I would believe Barry Scheck, if he was down at that base in Tennessee at that time, given the brutality of the rape and murder of Susan Collins, I would put him as my primary person of interest in that as well. And I think that they are going to do something with it because they didn't scour the internet and remove all of Barry Scheck's shit. Oh, fuck no. You go to Google and put in Thomas Jerome Bruce, FBI, DNA. Just do that. The whole page is going to be Barry Scheck talking about the Innocence Project. Yeah, they want that to be number one. But they damn sure don't want you to know that they went down and got his DNA. They don't want that. No, sir. They ain't wanting that shit at all, because you might start putting 2 and 2 together and thinking 4. Think about it. Man, I mean, if you're looking at all the circumstances, facts, and evidence of this case, you can see where it leads right straight to Thomas Bruce. That's what I talk about on my channel, how it leads back to Thomas Bruce. Why? Because this is where you get that. This is where you're going to hear it at, is on my channel. Because I tell you, it all leads back to him. Every damn bit of it. The time of day, his drunkenness, where he lives, the route, the fact that he had been there. It takes 15 minutes to walk from Freedom Bridge to Monon High Bridge. Short trail. One way to get there, one way back. It's like, I'd say between 1/4 and a half mile long. Probably at about a half mile. I'd say it's a half mile trail. The property that I lease right here is bigger than, larger than all of Monon High Bridge Trail. All of it. This property is bigger than it. So I don't think that it's a matter of the guy going there and knowing the whole of the trail. You walk in, you walk out. There it is. But you know when you're walking up to Monon High Bridge, because the left side, after the secondary entrance, to your left is private property. It has signs right there. Private property, do not enter. No hunting, no trespassing. That's how you know it's private property. So you know when you cross that bridge and you go down off the right-hand side of that bridge and then you cross the creek, You're on private property. You're no longer at the trails. Fellow hikers can't see you from there. You see? And I think that he was at the south side of the bridge. In fact, I got video of that I'm putting into the briefing video of the south side, and where I believe that he was at, the same place where the woman came across him that was walking her dogs. She lived right there where she saw him at. Okay, like you take the tracks on the south side where they continue going south. On the left is the one lady, I won't mention her name, and the other one is the lady that was walking her dogs. She moved from there. Why? Because they didn't know who did it. She knew that that suspect knew where she lived. She knew that when the sketch came out, she knew that the suspect would be, that's the lady that gave them the details for the sketch, because we talked for a couple of minutes. Flannel shirt guy, they just walked by each other. I was out there with the guy. It's back about a month or so ago now. I'm looking back. Now, him and I went out there, and when we was walking out, there was an older couple that was walking in. We walked by him. Hey, how you doing? Pretty good. Yourself? All right. And we kept walking. I waited about 2 minutes, and I said, all right, in 2 days from now, what could you tell me about those people's face? An older guy, and I'm like, see, that's exactly what flannel shirt guy would have said. I don't know. I don't even know what age. He, maybe a little chunky, maybe. He was dressed like that. But the lady walking her dogs who spoke to him for a couple of minutes, she's the one that gave the details. She's the one that recalled the hat on his head. Don't know what style I had. That's what she had told him. I don't know what style I had. Because I asked Sheriff Lesenby, I said, of all hats in the world, why did they put the one that I'm wearing on him? I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know anything about that. But, in the first sketch, they showed the facial hair right here. Yeah, just exactly like Thomas Jerome Bruce. Exactly. Now, in the second sketch, no hat, and the suspect was wearing a hat that day, and no facial hair. Yeah, think about that. Why would they do that? Why would they take away the hat and the facial hair when the suspect had it? And why would everybody be thinking, no, it is a young guy from Delphi? Look, man, if I was editing this, there would be bullshit straight behind me on that comment. Thomas Bruce is not from Delphi. He's actually from Montrose, Michigan, man, Genesee County. That's where he was living in Flint when those two rapes and murders happened. An 88-year-old and a 24-year-old. Brutally raped. Brutally. Bad. Ann Pates had her neck sliced open. Oh, wow. How many likes do we have? All 102 people watching. Do we have over 60? Please? Anybody? Yeah, John Smith, he did not park at the cemetery. Quickly note that Doug Carter did not say anything about the cemetery. It was the abandoned CPS building. In fact, I never, not one time, ever believed that the suspect parked at the cemetery. Everybody's like, it's right there by where he killed him at. So, why would that matter? He wasn't trying to get caught killing him. He didn't need a quick, easy way out, man. Putting his car in the cemetery would have drew more attention to his vehicle than what it did at the CPS building, where people park and went to the trail anyway. You back in where people can't see your license plate, where you're from, what county of Indiana you're from. There it is. You're just a hiker. Nobody would care. You park at the cemetery for 3 hours. Somebody going down County Road 300 would go, hey, there was a vehicle back there, Mr. Mears, and there wasn't anybody out in the cemetery. Somebody I think they're back there on your property. That's how people that live in the country do. And he would have been caught if he would have parked at the cemetery, because a lot of people wouldn't have known the type of vehicle he was in. By parking at the CPS building that was abandoned, it drew no attention to his vehicle at all. In fact, it took him 2 years and 2 months before they even came out and said that there was a vehicle parked there. No make, no model. It was just a vehicle that was parked there between the times of approximately 12 noon, and it wasn't there at 5 p.m. on the 13th. No, there was not a camera on the building because it was abandoned, dark vision. It had been closed down and boarded up for years. So they had no reason to have a, it was an empty building. There's no reason to have any camera on it. Yeah, exactly, Ivy. Precisely. Now, I think that because anybody that was traveling down County Road 300, especially over 3 hours, you would have a lot of people coming and going down County Road 300. And some of them would have said, yeah, I did see a car that was parked there at that day. And they may have additional details on them. But, they did not release that to us because if they handed out an exact kind, then people would be like, well, wait a minute. Thomas Bruce has one of those. There it is. Don Ripley Lewis, man. Right on. 68. All right, man. Right on. That's over 60. No, he was not at the cemetery for 3 hours. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't at the deer stand. Ruled that out. I went to the deer stand, man, and then I shot out to the front from where the deer stand is on the 501 path down to Freedom Bridge. That's the one that Libby and Abby took. That's the one the suspect took to get there. And from the deer stand, where it's set, because it was facing west, if you're looking from there and you're watching for somebody to come down that trail, you can't see them until they get out on the bridge. That's where you would know. Now, if he was sitting there waiting, then I would say, because people, I don't know, man, people think, well, it's a deer stand. Well, that's on private property too. And from that deer stand, you can see the county road, and anybody going down that county road can see you because you're right off the county road right there in the wood line. But as far as like being at a good place to see somebody going down the trail, it isn't. But if you're on the south side of the bridge, because he didn't expect the lady to be out there walking her dogs, firstly, but she happened up on him because her dogs did. So, and then people say, well, why didn't he attack her? Well, one, because she had dogs. Two, she lived there. Three, she didn't know if anybody was in there that knew she was walking her dogs, that she'd be right back. After a couple minutes, they might come out looking for her. So there are reasons. And I think that he was at the south side. I think he had field glasses on so he could see at a distance the people coming, see if they'd be fit his idea of a victim. That's what I believe. And I think that he waited there after being seen by a lady walking her dogs. I think he waited there for a while. Waiting for someone to pop up, man, come across. Well, Jack. No, they don't have partial DNA. And this is why I say to avoid Facebook. They had what was suggestive of a latent print. I believe it was more than that. I don't think it was a latent print. I think they had full-on fingerprints. Mary Pryor and Dan Pates, they had DNA and fingerprints. DNA and fingerprints in both crimes in the same county that they knew matched each other, but they had no person to point to because that person, just the same as Delphi, had never committed a crime. They had never committed a crime. There was no DNA or fingerprints in the database to match to. So, no, it isn't partial DNA. I believe that they have full-on DNA. Not contaminated, not partial. I don't even know how you get partial DNA. I mean, you'd have to go in and tear apart the molecule to get a partial. No, they got DNA and fingerprints, but I believe it's more than just latent. It could have been smudged fingerprints or something along that line, but you're welcome, Jack. Well, no. So you'd never be able to convict someone on DNA. Has to be a confession, right? No. Listen, man, forever murders have been tried without DNA. Today, everybody thinks you need DNA to solve a crime. Bullshit. You don't need DNA. You got fingerprints. You got two people that seen him. You can connect him by his DNA and fingerprints to other crimes. There are many routes that they can go, and they do not need DNA. DNA is just added evidence. That's it. Added. Look, man, When St. Louis called Carroll County and said, we got this guy down here, they sent photos so that they could take them to the two people that seen him, to my knowledge, two people, and say, is this the person that you saw there that day? If both say, yes, that's the person, no doubt about it. That's the guy I was trying to describe for the photo. Right there, that's him. Thank you. Because then they can say, yes, now we know in full that he is the guy. They got the DNA. They sent their Carroll County sent their suspect DNA off to Quantico FBI headquarters right before Christmas of 2018. I don't know that to be true. Not totally. If somebody said it was right by the bank, it depended upon whom had said that, but what am I to make of it? I really don't. I mean, there isn't anything I can really add to that. If it was by the bank, well, it's probably because they just walked across it. You know, shoe was wet. You're walking into terrain there. You know, you have to go up a hill. You know, when you, well, I say a hill, it's like a riverbank, you know, where it flows one way and then it's got the bank you got to walk up to get up to the ground, but it's only a few feet up that hill. It could have been lost trying to get up to the top of the hill if it was by the bank, but I don't know that it was. It could have been right there by them, but they wasn't that far off the bank anyway. Kelsey said this. Well, you know what? Kelsey says a lot of things. Kelsey said there was 40-some kids there when she dropped them off, and I said BS on that. Now, then she rectified that by saying, well, maybe it was when we were searching that they were there. Well, firstly, how would she have seen 40 kids where she dropped them off at the secondary entrance? She wouldn't have seen 40-some kids. If there was 40-some kids there, why wasn't anybody down by the bridge with them? Why was they down there by themselves? Why didn't those 40 kids see the guy walking out? And why was it just flannel shirt guy? You see where I'm at? Kelsey is young and she's going to college. Now she's having panic attacks. And I understand that they would be very rough losing a sibling like that, you know, losing a brother or sister in like manner. But at the same time, Kelsey is not involved in this investigation, and she does say things a la turn. She does say things to, I wouldn't say as proper, because I don't have anything against her or the family, but anything that Kelsey would say, she dropped them off. That was it. You know, that was it. And anything aside of that, it's not very investigative to look into. I mean, look, man, I mean, like, good luck with the forensics and all like that. But I think that she's a little immature, and I don't think that she gives things proper study before saying them. That's me on that. But I don't dig into the family. I don't talk to them about the murders because it's not my place to. They're not involved in the investigation. They don't know anything in the investigation. Why would I want to go talk to them and draw that up, man? It's not me. Greeno, yeah, he would go do that with the family, but no me. I just back out of that, man. So I'll talk to law enforcement and I'll ask them the real shit because they know. The family, my God, man. You know, it'd be hard to be them. And I would not want to be in their place at all. But again, I'm not putting anything on what Kelsey says. Well, was it? I mean, was it? Did Kelsey say that? Because if it was Kelsey saying that, man, I've already called out a couple of things that Kelsey said that was totally wrong. And then, okay, Kelsey's clearing it up that, well, maybe that was a little bit different than what I had stated. Maybe I don't know. And I would have to wonder if it was on the other side of the bank, why? I mean, why would she lose a shoe there? You know, it just, I mean, if she was going across the creek, well, I mean, you know, did she say, should I take my shoes off? I mean, do you see where I'm at? It's just, it's kind of odd if it is there, and I'm not saying that it was not there. But again, if it's something that Kelsey had said, I would question it a little bit, just a little. I mean, just a little. Thank you, Peaches. You know what? This show is dedicated to Peaches Dixon. Right on. Not too late, Leslie. I done dedicated. Well, you know, okay, a person could, and I will highlight that comment there. A person could suggest they started running. But if they started running, if both of them started running, I believe the guy had a handgun. And I believe that that was the whole of it. I got a gun. Okay. If they started running, or one of them started running, or one said to the other, let's run. Well, how would that guy have caught them? He would have had to shoot one. You know, I mean, would be the only answer. But I'm not suggesting that they started running. Look, if a guy had a handgun on me and said, do this and you'll live. Guess what? I'm crossing the creek, man. You know what? Because I'm thinking about my friend here too. I ain't going to suddenly be like, let's go, let's run. Because that guy could just kill us both right where we stand. I don't know who that guy is. You know, I don't know what his intentions are, but I'm damn sure going to do what he says because he could kill us right where we are. Now, everybody knows Libby and Abby through this crime. Does anybody think that Libby, of all people, would take off running and leave her friend behind? Or say take off running and less chance catching a bullet? No. I think that both of them were trying to comply, trying to get out alive, because that is what people would do, myself included. I would go with the program. What do you want, man? What is it that you need? You're holding a gun. You can kill me. I am in understanding. What do you want? I want to leave alive. That's what makes sense to me. And people talk about screaming. I mean, I understand, man. I mean, like, look, if you walked up and you just went like this with a gun at somebody and said, I'm going, you know, a person might scream. I mean, that's like almost habit. I mean, you know, especially for a young girl. But if you have a gun and you say, look, I have a gun, you do what I tell you and you'll be fine. You'll live. If you don't, I will kill you. Am I clear? Okay. Guys, down the hill. I mean, you see where I'm at. It's how a criminal operates. And it's not how a young girl operates trying to run if a guy's got a handgun on him. Am I sure that he has a handgun? I'm 90% sure. I can tell you that. Thomas, Jerome, Bruce had handguns. When I first seen the guy, once I started putting the details of the case together, I mean, it was very quick to conclude. That was on my old channel that YouTube deleted. Thank you, YouTube. You're the great LLC. Take away human rights. Right on. Well, they do what the FBI tells them to do. Duh. So anyway, I don't think that two girls would have been screaming at that time. They may have felt like it, but I don't think that they would have started screaming because they knew that that could drew fire from this suspect. I think that they did as they was directed to do. And I think that they both wanted to get out of there alive. And it's unfortunate, and we know of this because they did not. It was not an arranged meeting, dude. I'm trying to be quite clear here with you. It was not an arranged meeting. The FBI is not stupid, John. The FBI would have had that man in a matter of days if it was an arranged meeting. Let me scroll up here briefly. Well, it is, but that is being Lake Michigan. That is being a little too speculative on that. I mean, I don't really delve into anything outside of the, you know, as to what I know. I mean, with the circumstances of the case, okay, either A, the guy was like not at work or was disabled if he had a daytime job. If he worked there in Delphi, around Delphi, in Carroll County, Somebody would have knew who the hell it was by his voice and his dress and his face. Somebody would have known. Somebody would have called in and said, yeah, I know exactly who that is, man. He works right next to me here at blah, 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 blah. It would have been that easy. This person is not from Carroll County. And I've given my reasons. Now, you know what? Somebody asked me the other day, and I do need to go back. If you are here, I'm kind of answering it here, but I will get back to you on an email concerning that. It was, oh man, no, I forgot what the hell it is. I had to scroll back up here. Well, Jack, I mean, you say theories, but about anything that I'm saying, I can back up with evidence. Now, what that is some educated, so to speak, theory. But again, all the facts, I mean, he didn't have a job during the time of Delphi. He had filed bankruptcy 1 month prior to Delphi. Now, with the loss of a job, bankruptcy, that fit exactly Evansdale. In fact, the FBI had put out their profile of the suspect saying that the guy may have had a job loss, may have been financial strain at the time, may have been having mental difficulties through that month. Well, Thomas Jerome Bruce, because anybody that would commit a crime like Delphi or Evansdale is already have mental problems. They already do. But he was out of a job during both of them, had lost a job 1 month prior to both of them. Long-term jobs, 1 month prior to each crime. He looks like the sketch. He'd never committed it. He had never been caught committing a crime before. He had no DNA or fingerprints in a legal database. Everything is a check. Everything on it. Now, if you want more theory, yeah, right. Yeah, thank you, Dark Vision. Believe me, man, like long time back, you know, with the questions that kind of jab toward or say this, and after a minute, you're like, oh yeah, I know that kind of damn, I know who he is. Hope he's fucking blowing my phone up right now. Hope the fuck he is. Oh, Sue Wright's here. Okay. I thought you was under a different thing today. Nate, how you doing, Nate? Nate, Nat? Matt? No, it's Nat. Is it Nat? It's Nat. So any questions on the briefing? That is, hey, Michael Harper, man, I ain't seen you in a minute. No, it wasn't a Social Security. It was a CPS welfare building. And I do not know who had said that. Now, they didn't give a make or model of the vehicle, but they said that they felt they said by their investigation and intelligence that they felt that the vehicle was parked there from 12 noon, but it was not there at 5. I can state that. I would also state pretty clearly that the suspect drove valid there at about 3:01 or 3:02 p.m. because of my walk from the crime scene to exactly where he was parked. Now, we know the time the flannel shirt guy seen him on the walk in, that he was leaving at 2:47, and we know the area because Cheyenne had already reached the bridge. She did not see the man or hear anything. But flannel shirt guy, who arrived 10 minutes after her walking to the bridge, crossed paths with him. Think about that. Yeah, you know what? Now, this is me on that, Don. And remember that. TB was in the Navy. I'm certain that they had fingerprints of him. However, when he was in the Navy, he never got in any trouble. So would they have them in a Navy legal database? No, they would not. Now, that's like saying if I worked at a job that was high security and they took my fingerprints, that's fine. But they do not say, we're going to put these in a legal database to be matched to. Well, wait a minute. You're going to put them in a legal database to be matched to. You know, I don't think that that's the reason. Now, if he had gotten trouble in the Navy, they would have been in the Navy's database to be searched through legally. But that being the case, I don't think that they were, and I think that that's one reason why they had a problem with it. If it would have matched back to his Navy records, bingo. Okay, he knew the trails very well. You say the trails. You say like it's a big, long area, like it's huge. It ain't. It's a couple-minute walk there and like 15 back. I can walk to the end of that trail and back in a half hour. It's not trails. It's one trail going in. At the secondary entrance, you get the smaller trail goes down to the water, but the 501 goes straight ahead to the bridge. 501 steps. The other one's 505 steps. It's not that far. It's not that big. If you park at Freedom Bridge and you walk down the Monon High Bridge and you walk back to your car, you just seen the trails. There it is. Half hour. That's it. It's not trails that like go outward everywhere. It's one trail down, one trail back. But yes, he had been there before. I mean, I have suggested the fact that Thomas Jerome Bruce, in his travels up to his hometown of Michigan, from St. Louis up to Fort Wayne, he had passed by Monon High Bridge Trail many times on Highway 25. He stopped there just like you would at a rest area. If he was going state to state to state, stop at a rest area, use the bathroom, stretch your legs, woo-up-de-woo, get out for a minute. He knew that area. He had walked to the bridge many times. That's all it takes. You know that once you hit that bridge, everything to the left is private property. You abduct somebody on the south side of that bridge, which he did. You go down that right side, cross the creek, you're on private property. You're no longer on the trails. Now, at the time, okay, where he abducted the girls, at that time, that was railroad property. It was still belonged to the railroad. Flannel shirt guy told me that. First time that me and Greeno went out there, we talked to flannel shirt guy. He said, well, the trail goes to the bridge. When you hit the bridge, that's when it becomes railroad property. Now, the county had bought up the rest of that. The bridge still remained, belonged to the railroad, to my knowledge, at that time. So could have the trail where the railroad tracks were, but I don't really know that. But I do know where he abducted the girls at was on railroad property. Would that make it a federal crime? I don't know. I've never been tried for a federal crime yet. Give them time. But, you know, the thing is if it's a federal crime, because it's my hope that the feds will pick this up. Because if not, we are on a very long list, I think that Mary Pryor, Ann Page, Abby, Libby, Elizabeth, Lyric, I think that they are the top of it. I think that's scratching the surface. I think that there would be many more in California. There would be some in Missouri. There may even be more in Michigan. There may be more in Indiana that were connected that I don't know yet. But the thing is I'm all the time looking through records, trying to find things that match his MO, places where he would have been, places he would have traveled through, highways he would have used, parks there. He liked parks. He would always stop at small parks because I think small hiking trails offered opportunity. They were hiked, but not heavily. You could take somebody from there and there isn't going to be someone right back behind him, you know, seeing you abduct him. Well, in both cases, the guy got in, abducted, made the murder, and left. And only in this case here did anybody see him. And that was flannel shirt guy and the lady walking her dogs. That was it. Like he was lurking. I kind of feel like he was, like he was watching them. Okay, I confused the two. Who is Julie? I'm not even seeing Julie up here. Oh, Julie. Oh, I see. I won't say your name, but let me read your comment there. I have made mention of that, Julie. But Greeno put more theory into his stuff than, I mean, like the reenactment video, and I'm like, dude, no, man, I don't, you go do that. Well, about filming, I did think about going out and helping him film it, but I didn't want anything in that because, now the timestamp video is the one that I did, and that I think is on his channel. If not, it's on WKAT. Because when I found out about Cheyenne, I'm like, who's Cheyenne? Oh, she was there after, though. Like, well, who is she? Well, she took a picture on the south side of the bridge. She did. This is going back a long time ago. A very long time ago. And I'm like, she did? Yeah. Hang on, let me pull it up, man. He gets it, and I read it, and I'm like, well, now, wait a minute. Okay, because we have a flannel shirt guy that's seen him at this time, and he arrived 10 minutes after her, and then she was on the south side of the bridge at 2:49 taking the picture and didn't see anything. But flannel shirt guy arriving 10 minutes after her walked by the man. She got there at just the right time because when he was walking that wood line from where the girls' bodies were found, walking back across Ron Logan's and the Mears property back to the 501 trail, I think that's when he was keeping a look to his front for hikers. When he seen Cheyenne, if he did, because look, in the picture of Abby that Libby took, you can see all of the woods right there back behind Abby. That's what they would have been looking at. You would have seen somebody walking up that way, but they didn't see him. You see, now if he had held out behind a tree until they got up to the bridge and then walked out to the 501 trail and headed back, hoping nobody was coming toward him, he was wrong. Flannel shirt guy was, but Cheyenne didn't see anything. Flannel shirt guy did, and that's what started setting everything up in a timestamp. They arrived at this time. The suspect, we have heard from law enforcement, arrived at about 12 p.m. on the 13th. He had walked down to the bridge, was seen on the south side of the bridge by the lady walking her dogs at approximately 12:30. He abducted them at approximately 2:20-ish p.m., maybe a little bit before that, a couple minutes. It depends upon what had transpired prior to that. But if we're looking at the picture of Abby, and then that time from the walk from where that picture was taken on down at even a little slower pace, it would still put it right at around 2:20 when they was abducted, and then he was seen at 2:47 leaving, walking out. So that puts it right there within about 30 minutes. Probably from what I said, given the timestamp that was originally on the photo of Abby, then that would have put it at right at about 10:20 at the time of abduction. He's a very strong person of interest. In fact, I said person of interest, but what is the chance it isn't, Bruce? I'm 100% on it. Absolutely. I have been for over a year. Oh, well over a year. So I'm pretty tight on that. Now, a person can say it is not Thomas Bruce, and that is fine. A person can believe whatever they want, man. Believe as you will. But the thing is when somebody comes on here just to say that on my channel, I don't think it is Thomas Bruce. Do you have any evidence to the contrary? I just don't think it is. Well, I don't think you're going to be around long either. Because if you show up without evidence or anything to commit to your reasoning, there ain't nothing to it, man. It's like going to Facebook to find a lead. No, all you're doing is reading a bunch of other theories that a bunch of dumbasses put out there. Period. That's how it operates. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Leslie, completely. And there is, and I don't put anything into them. And I want to point that out. I don't, it's just like LaFon or Kurtz or Eldridge, blah, 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 blah. it takes a couple of minutes just to look over the criteria, man, and just be like, no, it ain't them. Well, this guy has a criminal record in the past. They would have known it was him. It couldn't be somebody from Delphi. They would have fucking knew. You know, there are all kinds of ways that I can go around and talk about that, but quite simply put, it ain't. It's nobody from Delphi. If it was, they would have had him almost pushing 4 years ago. Just like that quick. The FBI does not screw around. They are not stupid. They make connections. They do them better than me, probably. I mean, not that I've seen it happen yet, but I'm pretty damn sure. Now, if this does become a federal case, if they could roll everything that they find into one ball, into one big case against him with all of those, giving different punishments for each one, that could defeat Iowa, because Iowa is a non-death penalty state. They do not pursue the death penalty. Well, the citizens of Evansdale want the suspect. They said, if you catch a suspect, we want him to die. Can't happen. Iowa's not a death penalty state. But if it's federal, you see where I'm at? Because they could lay that out with Mary Pryor, Ann Pates, Evansdale, Delphi, and lay out a different punishment for each one. Delphi, they have. They have absolutely 100% everything that they want. I will quote Doug Carter when I say, we have every piece to the puzzle aside of who it is. At the briefing, wait, he didn't say that at the briefing. But had he have, that would have been a lie because they knew, or they did already know who it was. Now, I had spoke to Kim Riley before the briefing. It was before the briefing. And was talking to him about it. And he was asking me, are you Thomas Bruce? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it took him, like, I don't know, 5 minutes just to make the whole thing of who Thomas Bruce was. Oh, Thomas Bruce. Yeah. Okay, well, what about him? Really? After like 5 minutes of like, who? Are you him? What? Oh, Thomas Bruce. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, BS. Whatever, dude. Because he wasn't going to speak on that. And that might be because he spoke to me at the first year and I got that information, which was probably something that they didn't want released. But like, seriously, when he told me that the person had never been caught committing a crime before, I was like, okay, guess who did not get that information? Rafael Sanchez. That was me, Mr. Michael of the Katt family, of the family of Katt, if I need to be that, highfalutin about it. Michael, have you thought about B from Colorado? Who is B from Colorado? If you will. I don't know about B from Colorado. I don't know about him. But if you have anything on him, you can send it right here to this email address. That would be Mr. Katt. Oh, that is not it. Man, where in the hell? There it is. Bam. Right there. MrKatt420@gmail.com. Type me out a message, send it to me. I check it probably, through the day, man, at least every 2 to 3 hours. Usually if I get an email from somebody inquiring, I usually send it right back to them rather quickly. And there was somebody who had asked me something the other day, and I had remembered it a moment, like a half hour ago. It's gone now. I don't know who Barry Morphew is. I don't know him. If he was put out as a person of interest for a Delphi murders, send it to MrKatt420@gmail.com. Let me take a look into him and I'll find out. Thank you, Peaches. You know what, man? I mean, there it is. I mean, yeah. Need I go on? And she should probably have her own YouTube channel. Throwing it out there. Oh, I see. Thank you, Ivory. Got you. Okay. No, I Don't think so. To bring somebody out here from Colorado to Indiana to go to a small trail, he would have been at somebody's house locally to Delphi and would have been brought up as a person of interest immediately. Now, he could have been traveling across the country and just happened to stop in. Statistically, very rare. Oh, I see. Got you. Okay. Well, again, I was a little confused. All right, man. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate the hell out of it. I really do. New subscribers, anybody following the case, you know what? Share it along. Need more subs. You know, more subs you have, the higher your rating. Yeah. I agree. Okay, well, I am going to end this show here in a little while. So if anybody's got any questions concerning the case or the briefing, throw them up. I am happy to answer the questions. Lay it on me. I await your questionings. Yeah, we're pretty out there, man. I try to keep my my subscribers in a good mood. Offer them drinks. Hey, would you like some Dr. Pepper, please? No, there was no new briefing, Megan. It was only the one. If it was new, like I said, I wouldn't be the one covering it. That would have been on the news, and everybody would be talking about it. But again, man, if I go back in history, last time that they was answering any questions from the media, that was a year and a half ago. And that was pre-set up. That was with the prosecutor who was doing the main of the speaking. And if I go back before that, the last time that they really, honestly, as a bunch talked about it was the first year press conference. That was it. Second one was media only. That means don't pay it any, never mind, man. It's BS right off the bat. They got the paid for questions with paid for answer. This is the answer to your question, Raphael. Best investigative reporter Indiana's ever seen. That's how they roll. But you're not coming in. You won't be here answering questions. Not you, Mr. Katt. I like the fact that law enforcement does not like what I ask. That's meaningful to me. That says shit to me right there, man. You know, I somewhat of a good question there. Do I think that they found a weapon at the scene, or do you think the killer took the weapon? I would think, being me, that the killer would have took it with him. I mean, if he had left something, it may have been a knife that was wiped clean. That's a possibility. It could be something that was left at Evansdale. Perhaps something like that, to maybe just, like you would say, a signature, so to speak, purposely left behind to suggest to law enforcement, I'm the same guy. And that's a maybe. That could be. I don't think that he would have left a handgun there, but a knife, maybe. Maybe. But again, I mean, that's a guesstimate. That is not theory by any means. There's nothing I can put anything behind. But that is a good question, and it's rare that I get any new questions, so to speak, that amount to much. Yeah, you know what? That's a good question too, right there, Leslie. And again, I would not be Oh, Charlie Hunt. Look, man, if you want Michael Katt stuff, this is like right down in the description below. Scroll down the description, man. You'll see like merchandise. SPREADSHIRT.com. That's where me and Wolf, the Crown Prince, roll, man. At SPREADSHIRT. I'm going, look, man, I'm going to get like coffee mugs with the little Crown Prince of Uganda, man, with the Ugandan flag behind him. Oh, it's going to rock, man. You know what? I'm buying one my own self, man, because I've been drinking out of the same pug mug, man, for 12 years. I love my pug mug, man. I drink coffee out of it, man, for 12 years, dude. 12 years every morning. I'm drinking out of my pug mug. That's fact. I'd rather have a Crown Prince of Uganda mug. You know, it's me. Oh, but anyway. Yeah, if he would have said that. The thing is that if you was to reach out to people, family, or friends that knew Thomas Bruce, you're going to get some bad information. And I'll tell you why. Because they have been talked to by the FBI, and the FBI said, do not discuss anything that we are talking about here today to anybody else. If anybody asks you anything, tell them this, but do not tell them we asked that. So I don't, you know, it would be hard to get a hold of somebody that knew him that would say that he said guys. Not impossible, but, you know, they certainly didn't reach everybody that had ever knew Thomas Bruce. Stylist was back on my show. That's going back over a month ago. She knew him from California, and she did not even know that he was married or had kids. She goes, they never spoke of him being married before or children. But she said that she had been to their house one time around Christmas, and that was probably, she said, about mid-90s, which is when he was in California. Truth? Man, damn it. See, I'm missing everything. Oh, Truth and Justice, man. Thanks for being here. Peace. Man, you're probably already gone now. Sorry about that, man. Didn't catch it in time. Ah, there you are. Okay. Thanks for being here, man. Is Incognito here even still? Hadn't seen her in a long time. Well, anyway, my popularity is waning, as is now 97 people here. And I would like to thank everybody that stopped by. Anybody interested in this case, you can reach me. Again, I'm going to throw up my email address right here. This is how you reach me if you have a question. Even if it's an old question, I do not mind answering, as long as it's somebody looking for information on the case. I'll take all day and answer all questions, actually. But that's how you reach me, right there. If you want to call, send me your number. I'll give you a call back. Tell me a time to call. Oh, there. Oh, Crime Sleuth. Oh, there you go. Right on. Okay, thank you. Okay. There's a lot of crime, innocence, justice. You know, there's a lot of that Delphi justice. You know, there's a lot of that, man. I start to get them confused after a while. And I'm glad that you're here. In fact, if you give me a second real quick, I'm going to hop over to YouTube and re-moderate you. Just give me a second. I got to pull my channel up. Then I'm going to get like, there we go. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Oh, no, man, I ain't got to do that. You're already a mod. What in the hell am I thinking? Close the window. Bam. There you are. Oh, man, Cass, man. Oh, you got here a little fast, man. I mean, you got here a little late, dude. You know, a little late in the game. But I appreciate everybody being here. Mods, you guys rock, man. I appreciate it. And like I said, if anybody has any questions, you can get a hold of me at my email address, mrcat420@gmail.com. I thank you all for being here. And I will see you next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's when my live show starts. But keep your eyes out because I am working on the video of the briefing where I'm doing a whole layout of everything included. But I just kind of wanted to cover that in the live tonight. That way everybody's kind of caught up to date when they watch that. Keep your eye out for it. It should be out by within a few days. I say that every week, but this time I really mean it. All right, man. I'll catch you guys next week. Peace, everyone. That's for Wolf. He demands electricity. He's crown prince. I don't say no to him. Peace.